there we are. You know how many times I had to fix this camera? Okay, stay on subject. It's me, LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. As you will see, I am trying to raise my voice to the best of my ability so that my sound can projectify all across this camera. Psych! Okay, my first video in this series is colorism. Okay, I've really been wanting to talk about this. I actually been wanting to do it for a while. It first came to mind with me sometime last year. I just wasn't ready yet. Now I am, with a little help from my handsome husband here. He helped me set up this background stuff, and we're good to go. Let's see. I have my notes too, so I can try to stay the course. Before I really start, I want to give a special shout out to YouTube patron. Well, what is it? YouTube. What do you call it? What's the word? It's not patron because that means they actually are like buying a subscription or something. YouTuber named Walter Lee Hampton the second. Thanks for the support and highlighting my comment on there. So definitely I'm going to make these videos here. I put in here um the video that was also is called "Why Are So Many People Against Having Roommates." It was a lot of interesting comments from there from like all across the United States. I like the interaction on that channel because it's based in Atlanta, Georgia, but we get a lot of I see a lot of comments on there from people from Michigan. I see comments on there from people from Ohio. So it's kind of cool. And then the video you made with your mom, and that one's called Alberta Hampton, Walter Hampton, discussing Prophet Joshua Holmes. I was laughing so much. Your mom, I was like, wow. She's very blunt and honest. So once again, thanks to YouTube for providing good content on you guys' YouTube channel. It's pretty good, and what it is. The channel is just a daily video blog of what goes on in their world of Atlanta. So it's very informative and it's funny. Let's see here, and those are my notes for that. Once again, I do want to thank my husband. He's been my support, so I'm very glad that I'm starting my YouTubing on a more serious note while since he's been in my world. So that's what I'm saying there. And here we go. We have my first video is called Colorism, and I'm going to do a series of 7 videos. The first one will be of course my introduction, and it's called Seeing Myself Inwardly, the introduction and definition of what colorism is and means. I'll work on reminding myself to project my voice a little louder too, so my voice may go up and down. Just bear with me as I get used to doing something like that. My second video will be seeing myself through the eyes of my immediate family collectively. Colorism 3, seeing myself through the eyes of my father. Number 4, seeing myself through the eyes of my dark-skinned sister. Number 5, seeing colorism amongst and between girls during elementary, middle, and high school. Video 6 will be talking about seeing colorism as a whole and collectively during elementary, middle, and high school through the eyes of guys. 7, seeing colorism during my college and early 20s, and that's as a collective thing from the guys and the girls, what through my eyes of what I saw then. And number 8, seeing colorism through the eyes of just people's relationships, that I heard, and even some of the poor choice relationships I had in the past, just the colorism part, and. So my first video I'll get back to once again is colorism. I will provide to you the definition of what it means so we can all be on the same page. Colorism, prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Then following that definition, they have like an asterisk providing more of an in-depth explanation. So it says colorism within the Black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. I'm going to read the definition again. Colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the Black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. I will do my best to stay on topic. So, my first day of this series, seeing myself inwardly. And I'm just kind of going to go on the fly based on this topic. Colorism, I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know racism was a thing. I didn't even really know people having a different color was a thing. Um, and you don't have to be mentally impaired to just figure that out, because even in science it says that babies aren't born acknowledging or knowing that people come in different shades, meaning like there's black, there's white, and all that. They just see that they're, one, a person, and that's that. But it is taught. Racism and colorism, I just keep saying the word colorism. Colorism is something that is unfortunately taught, because it was never brought to my attention exactly what color I was until I got to second grade. Okay, I knew I was black. I knew I was African American. I knew the people who were in my life, like aunts, uncles, mom, you know, people like that, the regular people, the people at the grocery store you see every weekend, you know, I knew I was black as a race, but far as being classified as a color and race didn't make sense to me. So from being born all the way to second grade, I was like 91, 92, literally, I just thought I was me, you know, and black, like a substance. But I got to second grade, we moved out to what was considered the suburbs, according to everyone who lived in the hood. And I don't like that stigma neither. So we moved out to the suburbs, and I learned real quick. I swear, like in the first week of school, before I learned anything else, is that I was black. And what I mean by that is how I was received. First and foremost, I'm gonna tell you, not by, this is my story, not by the white people. It was from my own people that I was black. And not only on top of that, I was light skinned. And not only on top of that, I had long hair. And not only on top of that, I'm quiet because I think I'm better than everybody. So I'm like, so I go home. What did you learn today? Of course, I didn't tell them anything. I was quiet. I'm like, I'm not going to tell them this. I really didn't like talk to my parents anyway, so why would I even tell them something as heavy as this? I was like, I'll figure it out on my own. But yeah, I can really remember some darker skinned girls to at that time. I just thought they were just girls like me. I didn't see the color, but they pointed it out real quick. So it's like I came not only from a place where I loved, which was the hood, to this stuck up suburban area filled with all these black girls with attitudes, not focusing on education, but how I looked on the outward. So I'm like, well, here we go. I don't know, what am I supposed to be learning, that I'm a black light skinned person and protecting myself, or trying to focus on my studies? I think I was stuck. That really impaired my learning from that day forward, because it was just crazy. Let's see here. Seeing myself inwardly, and I'll just stop there. As far as the first grade stuff, I don't want to. I forgot. I don't want to get too into detail with that, because that's actually going to be maybe the third or fourth video. So this is supposed to be a roundabout overall synopsis. Oh, synopsis of what colorism is to me through the eyes of me. Like I said, I didn't know there was a such thing as people being different shades. I just thought we were all one person, like a bag of M&Ms. I'm gonna get me some M&Ms. M&Ms is M&Ms no matter what color, and that's how I saw people. I was sorely mistaken, and now I'm stuck trying to figure out where I fit in. Not only in my being in this world now, and but fitting in the black community as a whole, and then also being aware of that, going back home with that knowledge, and unfortunate word is to seeing how the Hades I'm gonna fit in my home, and then within the rest of my family, because that forced me to see that nobody else in my family my color. WTF? Here we go. So I really don't like colorism because it do fit the definition exactly: prejudice or discrimination against individuals with dark skin, typically among the same ethnic or racial group. I'm just going to stick with our group because I really can't speak in depth to like the Hispanic people, but unfortunately they do go through that stuff too. So people, let's just keep that in mind. They do that skin bleaching stuff too, and it's stupid that they have to deal with that too. So keep that in mind too. I don't want to hear no, but they got good hair. We're not talking about hair right now. We talk about colorism, okay? Hair and skin color are two different things, unfortunately, if you want to really break things down with people to help them understand what's going on. So all races can watch this because it do affect people. Even white people. I went to school with this one girl. She has so many freckles over her face. Oh, she got it. She got talked about too, about her people, and she white. So this skin stuff is ridiculous. Okay. So back to colorism in my world through the African American life of me. I didn't like it and I still don't. It scares the HE double hockey stick side of me because when and if we do decide to have a daughter, it's like, how on the H I'm gonna tell her something like this? I'm gonna tell her, but that's just something you don't want to tell your kids. You just want the world to be one happy place, which it used to be. But I do dread that. So I try to prepare myself when I'm ready. I try to prepare myself as much as possible without emotionally overwhelming myself on how I can prepare my future daughter about what she's going to face. Because my husband is brown and he is fine. So our kid is going to be definitely not my shade. She is going to be, brown. Hey, like real brown. So I'm going to have to prepare her based on the level her shade she comes out and takes to of what type of XYZ she's going to be dealt with by others just based on her complexion alone. So I'm ready for it, but it's scary too. So people out there, you know, having children is scary, and it's a lot of stuff we have to talk about with it to them with. So hopefully this series will help you kind of get the ball rolling in your head at least to prepare yourself, then your child or your children that you already have, with what to deal with and how you can deal with stuff too and accept yourself and not, number one, A, feel guilty because you light skin, or B, feel like crap because you're dark, or C, feel like I don't know what side to pick because I'm in between. This is an introductory to a series of 7 videos I will be doing in regards to colorism. My name is Elay, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy, talking to you about something that a lot of people are finally starting to talk about. And I'm happy. So I decided to put my 2 cents in to help you guys be informed with something that's drama free. Let's say that. Alrighty then, I'm going to look for the stop button. I'm looking for the stop button. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, there's an X right here. I'm gonna push that. It don't say stop. Now it should just say stop if you wanted to stop, not X. Slave mentality. Push X. Sound after X. But that's another story too. Bye. Oh, I'm live. There's a delay. Hi, it's me, LA, pronounced like LA like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. If you could have seen the comments that I wrote about myself in the first colorism video, you will hit the floor laughing. Hit the floor! Yes, boy! Like, did she say that? Yeah, I was really concerned about my forehead yesterday. I forgot how big it is. So I put down in my comments on the first colorism video that, oh, hi y'all, that I was gonna have to cover up my five head with do something. As you can see, I haven't felt like flat ironing my hair yet. It's so much work. But I tried covering up my forehead today. It'll be an adventure. Each day my hair will probably be different. But if I zoom in close, you can't tell, can you? This is me. I'm supposed to be talking about colorism. I'm over here talking about my forehead. Hi, welcome to my show. You're watching Elay TV. And my first video for the colorism was fun. My second video I'm going to talk about in colorism is called Seeing Myself Through the Eyes of My Immediate Family Collectively, based on how I viewed things. I did a lot of internalization. I never knew what that word was or that practice I was doing until I got older. I don't think I really knew what internalization was by definition until probably after college, but I knew that's what I was doing, thinking inside all the time. I constantly thought to myself, the amazing word. Woo. Okay, so I would like to start out with the video too with reading to you the definition of what colorism is. Colorism: prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the Black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. I'm going to read the definition again. Colorism: prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the Black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. My topic today is colorism. Oh, look, you can see my cheeks. I'm using the natural sunlight today. So you're going to see like different shadows. You're going to see, you know, my everything coming through, but I'm not wearing any makeup because I don't want to. My eyes are a little puffy. I'm a little tired, but well rested. Busy day. I'm a mom, a wife, XYZ. Let's see here. So, family collectively. Seeing myself through the eyes of my immediate family collectively. Well, I wonder if I can pause this because um it looks like I'm buffering and I don't want to keep continuing this video wondering about buffering. I want to just enjoy talking how I feel without any interruption. I pray that don't happen again. I think I know what might be causing it. Guys, if it happened too many times, I might have to come back. No. Oh, so seeing myself through the eyes of my immediate family, I really never took the time to really go back to think about all those issues and worries and concerns and points of views for what seems like decades because like I said, I did a lot of internalizing and that was then, this is now. So this is all kind of raw, meaning I have to really think about it. And I wanted to do this live so it can come across as natural as possible. It's scripted a little bit so I can try to stay on task. How I saw myself through the eyes of my family, in a nutshell, I really didn't realize that having lighter skin was the grocer's choice until I start hearing people in my immediate family, mom, dad, aunts, uncles, and cousins and stuff. And then, of course, when you go to cousins' houses, maybe their friends or whoever over there will say stuff. You pick up like that. Or if you go to your cousin's house and the neighborhood's kids are there, you hear their conversation. So that's kind of like family too back then because I always saw them at some point in my life. For a short duration of time, I still picked up enough that did some damage to me today, as far as emotionally developing and how I view things. So, seeing myself through the eyes of my immediate family, it's terrible how that stuff is taught and how when you are young you are impressionable and some kids are just slower than others. Some kids are innocent by nature, meaning they're very naive in a way that it's pure. So if you tell them something, they're going to take it as gospel because why would you question the authority of someone you love? So having said that, I believe that's how my energy was and is. Um, why would I question what comes out of my parents' mouths or aunts' mouths or even cousins? Bigger cousins. Because hey, I'm learning. I'm here to absorb. Seeing myself through the eyes of my immediate family collectively, I just really didn't know it was just a thing to be light skinned and that it was better. I didn't like it because it brought more attention to me that I didn't want. I loved my cousins and stuff, but I would have preferred to be alone. I had favorite cousins per se. I wouldn't say favorite, they just appeared to be favorite because that's who we were around the most for whatever reason. Life dealt us those cards to be around a specific sector of cousins. It don't necessarily mean we loved and or got along like that or was best friends forever. It's just the way circumstances brought us together because I believe if everything was going perfect in both of our worlds, I don't even think we would have even really had a relationship, period. That's just how it is. But those things were out of my control because I was just a child. But you guys, it's like I just wish people didn't harp on light being right, light being better. Of I felt bad. I didn't want people just addressing me or noticing me because oh she's high yellow. I'm like, what's high yellow? That's not even in the crayon box. Okay, gold, but you know what I mean. I'm like, okay, high yellow. What's that? I thought I was black. So it literally started putting a wedge of confusion in me because I was literally thinking, well, if these people are calling us black, why are you calling me light skin? Because to me, light skin don't mean black. What is light skin? I can't pick light skin out of a crayon box. I can't draw myself. How can I draw myself? In elementary and stuff, because I like to draw, I'm like, if the teacher told me to draw myself, I drew myself, but I didn't know how to color my shade in. I was confused and I didn't know how to express that to my teacher. Unfortunately, at a young age, it was a lot of things I was thinking about in my head. I really knew in my heart that I shouldn't even be talking to adults about. Because in my head, I'm like, why bother? They're going to think I'm being too complicated or something's wrong with me or not really acknowledge the fact that I may be acknowledging something deeper than what everybody else around me is willing to face already. So I'm like, I'm a black person. But people are starting to go around telling me I'm yellow, high yellow, light bright. I get the analogy, but yet I still can't find my color in the crayon box. I'm not mixed. To my knowledge, I'm not mixed. I'm just gonna say I'm black, okay? I'm African American. I haven't done any ancestry test or anything like that, but I want to, and not to see if I'm mixed with something. I just want to see what is all in me, but not to be like, oh God, I hope I'm mixed with something so I can feel more better than everyone else. I'm 13% this, I'm 1% that. That really don't count. Abu, you black. I'm sorry. Hello, that's how I see myself. I'm black, okay? Period. But I still want to know more about myself. Um, it's just hectic. I am 34 years old and I still fight with this. Not self-acceptance or trying to find myself. It's just tiring. Some days it's more tiring than others. I need to reread this title again so I can try to stay on course. Seeing myself through the eyes of my immediate family collectively. So, overhearing people in my family say certain things, how in hushed undertones when they thought maybe we weren't listening, or a regular conversation on the phone. Oh yeah, she light. Everybody gonna want her. And I'm not even referring to what they were saying about me. These are conversations people who were adults or older than me were having about people their age. Or girl, yeah, she light. She gonna get everything she want. Men don't want us no more. Or she gonna have some good hair and oh, she's gonna get the job. I heard a lot of this going on. Once again, I'm 34 years old, so what I did hear a lot amongst a lot of the trackings off. This is terrible. Was like I'm qualified, I'm well qualified, I'm overqualified, but I know this light skinned chick gonna get the job, or this light skinned chick got the job, or this mixed chick got the job because she lighter and she's more socially acceptable than me, but she don't know nothing. I heard a lot of that going on when I was growing up. So apparently they were just fighting trying to get a good job. And when people were hiring the token black, they still overlooked education and picked color, shade color. I've heard that and I've actually seen that happen. It's terrible too, Oh, we've come a long way. I can't say that. But we got to sustain though, or we're going to end up going backwards. Let's just keep it that way. But we have come a long way. I'm happy to have been born when I was born so I could see the past, the now. I've seen the, stuff transition to how it is now so I can appreciate who I am, where I am, and all that stuff. So it's my responsibility to teach to the best I know how my struggles when I'm comfortable and ready to not only myself, to show myself that I've grown and overcome things, not only so it can acknowledge to me that I'm in a better place in life, but to help my future children when and if we have children, and even people, kids that I personally call my babies. Oh, that's my baby. I love him or love her to death. They just love to life. They're just so adorable. Neighborhood kids and such. So if anybody's watching this, I know it will be helping them, even though it may not sound to me that it's coming out clearly. This will help someone. I'm light skinned. I never knew I was until everybody on the outside told me about myself. Thanks, people, for your opinions that I'm light skinned. Because it took me years to figure out, okay, if I'm light or am I black. I knew I was African American, but I still was getting treated with more attention like I was a tropical fish in a fish tank with regular just goldfish. That's how they treated me. Not saying it was all about me, but once again, this is coming from my point of view. What I zeroed in on was the fact that they were saying I was listening to more of the outward things, wishing that they would have said something else that I could have brought with me today in this lifetime, this current state I'm in, that was more edifying than my outward appearance. That's what I'm really trying to say. It's like if my old me had a funeral, all people would say is she was light skinned, nice, quiet, pretty, beautiful. But what else? You guys, so that I know I'm not the only one who felt that way. It's like I'm smart in my own way. What else is it that you notice about me? Okay, I'll take it. I'm quiet. But I didn't like that because you praised the fact that I was quiet because I wasn't in y'all's way, in y'all hair, getting in y'all way. Y'all didn't have to take care of me because I was quiet. That's how I saw it. And that's how I view it today. Till I get convicted to look at it any other way, that's how it's gonna remain. You like because I didn't get in nobody's way like other kids. You didn't really have to discipline me. That's fine and dandy, but what else? You know, I just was out of y'all's way. So that's the only reason y'all really appreciated me. Oh my gosh. Colorism. To this day, when I draw and color myself, I still have a difficult time trying to figure out how to blend the shades of my hues in on paper. I see that this is not moving with my mouth. I'm not going to stop this. You guys are just going to have to close your eyes and open your ears and listen to what I'm saying because I'm not going to redo this over. I just have to keep going. Um, I know I'm a black person, but how do I draw my skin color on paper? I wrote a book, for example. I wrote a children's book called Sandwich Man. It's a nutritional children's book, okay? And in there's a little boy named Joey. The only thing I could ever remember when I showed the African American community that I wrote a book, they turned the page, opened it up, and saw Joey and said, "Oh, this is a good book. I can see it making a lot of money." That I agree on too. But how come you made the boy white? You should have made him look like us. I'm like, he is black. So basically, the boy that I drew in my children's book called Sandwich Man, his name is Joey. I made him look like my color. I did to the best of my ability. I think I had to use 3 shades of color pencils to make him my color. So he's a mix of colors. Even though I'm black, even though Joey's black, they were seeing. So saying that out loud, it goes to show I'm not the only one running around here identifying race by shades of hues in a crayon box. You know, when white people make children's books, the main character is typically their color. If a white woman is making a beautiful children's book, of course, more than likely, she's going to make the babies white because it's about her. It's coming from her. Everything that she's drawn, she's written, is coming out of her and onto that paper. It's a reflection of, and that's celebrated and it's adored. It's no different from me when I write. I have children books, I have young adult books. So when I write the description of how these girls are, they do look like me because I am African American and I am this color here. I'm not being racist. I'm not being coloristically biased. I'm kind of writing a reflection of me, my life through my eyes. It's no different from when, for like a sister soldier, she's a brown skinned woman, she's writing. So when she writes that color in her literature. She's not being biased, she's writing through the reflection of her soul. So, you can't come up there telling me when you look through the book I've written, Sandwich Man, you need to make him look like us when I did. He's my color. I'm black. That character in there is black. So quit telling me to change it. It just don't make sense. Look in the mirror. You go write a book. Make somebody your color complexion. I'm black. I'm black. I'm just a different shade. Okay? Ugh. Now, the frustration that I'm showing you was the frustration I was carrying inside as a child for many years because I didn't want to express it to people older than me because I just knew they weren't going to get it. It would be something simple. Just be happy your life. That you don't have to worry about issues like that, dark skin issues. What? 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 What kind of? I see what you're saying. I see where you're coming from, but what? Seeing myself through the eyes of my immediate family. I guess having fair skin paved the way so I can put food on the table. I guess my shade of skin will guarantee that I will have a husband, a steady job, great photos, pick of the litter for men, beautiful children guaranteed. At least their skin won't be dark. Your hair is another thing. But right now we talking about your skin. At least you'll be able to go on the right side of town when it's dark and not get pulled over by police because you look closer to their color. Oh, you can have white friends because you fit in. Just on the surface. You know what I'm saying? So hearing the conditioning of that, and I'm not even talking about TV people, this is from the run in the mill of what you hear through my eyes as a child, summed up based on conversations I heard not directly told to me, indirectly heard sometimes, but picked up overhearing conversations on the telephone, conversations shared amongst each other while cooking, cleaning, or just being around family talking. I'm quiet. I'm not gonna go around telling people's business. Why? It's pointless. But I can't help but hear, even though those things about people's skin complexions were not directly towards me, they were about someone in their age, in their circle, I still absorbed that in because I couldn't help but not to ignore it because I was the same color, but I was black. I'm not mixed, but I can sure as heck see why some of the mixed people back then were perplexed about where they fit in at. There's a thing I feel. And it feels on the vibe like that. You see how the light is shining off of me? It's just like that. That's how I feel. I connect solely on the level that I'm black. I collect solely on the level because when I have to check my race, when I'm getting my license renewed, or doing some financial aid, I check black. That's where I feel evenly united with my people when it comes to color, because I have to check that box too. Outside of that box defining me, it's back to this. When the line is supposed to be straight across, my line is like this, always shaky, like anxiety, because it's undefined, undeclared, and chooses, it's not getting anywhere, it's not getting fixed. And I think that's what's causing the uneasiness. People are finally starting to stop circling around this whole topic and trying to really uproot this crap so our lives can be even. That we all come in different shades. We're people. Some are going to be on one end of the spectrum, really dark and white. So the people in the middle, we shouldn't have to struggle to fit in and want to be accepted completely. You know, it's not fair. But it do suck because I can't really find my shade in the box. So I have to blend colors. In the summertime, I tan real nice, so it was easy for me to find my shade. But when I'm not in the sun, look how the light hit. 1 minute I'm this color, 1 minute I'm this color. I know it's all about lighting, but it's like, dog, either way the light hit the color to color myself. I think I might wrap it up here. My name is LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy, and I'm doing the best I can to present to you how I saw colorism, how I see colorism, and how it affected me as a light skinned black girl. Hey, what's up? It's me, LA. LA pronounced like ELAY. Wait. Hey, what's up? It's me, LA. LA pronounced LA like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. Wow, that's what I love with live takes. You have to show your do-overs in front of everybody. Colorism, video 3. Seeing myself through the eyes of my father. I'm so thankful I have these notes, y'all, cause where my hair be at though? Colorism, video 3. Vision 3. Well, we're going to start off with the definition and welcome back. I can't edit this, y'all. A colorism definition: prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Prejudice or discriminating against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the Black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. Colorism within the Black community has been a serious and emotional and psychological battle. Psychological battle, psychological battle, psychological battle, battlefield of the mind. Ugh. So all the preachers ever talked about when I was growing up, battlefield of the mind, battlefield of the mind, battlefield of the mind. I'm like, why you breathing like that? You scaring me. Then you playing that organ music, like I thought you was here to save people. You scaring me with that. A battlefield of the mind. Colorism within the black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. Psychological battle. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't effing so. I know what battlefield of the mind means now. I was even able to grasp that concept at an early age when I went to church like that. Meaning, when my parents took me. Meaning, when my voice didn't matter, I went to church. Um, I can say I was 6. That's when I really remember being in church. And hearing that particular sermon, Battlefield of the Mind, I get it. But I wish it was more in depth than how it was presented at the time. But apparently at the time that was real deep then. So it left us who questioned the actual message being taught in the spectrum of wonderment and not awe because the sermon was deep, but exactly what does this battlefield of the mind entail? What should I do to prepare my mind? Outside of the fact that the devil is real and he gonna go after your mind and after the minds of the young children. Okay, and the sky is blue and the grass is green. And if I roll over and lay in the grass, I'm gonna break out in hives. You're only scratching the surface to basic things we know. But could you have dived deeper into that opposed to holding on to the deepness of the topic and perhaps getting high off that alone? Battlefield of the mind. Colorism within the black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. Today's topic for colorism video, or should I say vidya, part 3 is seeing myself through the eyes of my father. Colorism video 3, seeing myself through the eyes of my father. And for some reason, I can feel people already holding their breath. Hold it. Hold it until you turn blue. Hold it until you keel over. But I didn't say die. Just hold your breath, turn blue, and fall over. Maybe then when you hit your head, you'll wake up. I don't want anybody to die. I just want people to be aware. The purpose of these videos are not to slander people. The purpose of these videos are not to expose people and drag them through the mud. That's not my forte. So go on and breathe out. This is LA who's presenting these videos on the platform to the best of my ability with not trying to make people look bad. Okay? So just go on, breathe, and just focus on me and what I'm saying, because I'm not here to drag anybody through the mud. But I am trying to get my point across. seeing myself through the eyes of my father when it comes to the topic alone of colorism, I really had to pause because I really don't have much to say in regards to that. My dad is like a caramel color, but darker. It's weird because sometimes it's, to me, it seems like his skin color changes, just like mine's. Like when the summertime come, of course I get a tan, but for some reason it don't seem like I tan. I tan weird now, and I think that's weird too. My mom is a weird brown, but you can best believe you know she's brown. She's black, as well as my father. I am black. I'm African American too. But the only thing I can say in regards to video 3, seeing my father, is that I couldn't see myself in him via color because my mother or my father are not my color at all. So I couldn't see myself in my dad because I couldn't even get past the fact that our colors don't even match. Not even when I turned his hand over. His hand was brown. I'm like, isn't the inside of your hand and your feet supposed to be lighter? You see my skin, and then I turn my hand over. It's this color, like a peachy color or something. Well, I turned his hand over and it was still dark. So I'm like, well, god dang. So I really didn't feel a part of the family because I really was trying to find a way to identify by being in a family where I was the middle child of two other girls in that house because I have stepsisters too. And I don't like to say sisters, but I'm saying half sisters so you can identify where I'm coming from. In the immediate circle of that family in which I grew up with 24/7, I am the middle child of two more sisters. My oldest sister, she's is dark, but she's pretty. And I'm not saying dark, but she pretty because she's, for a black girl, comma, you're unbelievably beautiful, like Brandy. No, I don't mean it in that way. She's pretty. Bingo, okay? And that's point blank. And my other sister, she is about the color of my mom. So I really stand out like a sore thumb because everybody is like brown. You can see that they're black outside of the features. Thank God for facial features because I do look black through the skin. My facial features look black. Okay, people, you following me? So I was searching for identity amongst my immediate family that I saw on a day to day, and I never found peace with it. And to this day, I am 34 years old. I still don't have any peace. I still don't feel like I fit in, even though I been around them forever. I still feel this. That's just how it is. I don't feel like I belong there, even though they treat me like family because I am family. You know what I'm saying? When we took family pictures, I stuck out like a sore thumb, and I wish I blended in as one instead of always being the focal point. Even though I didn't want to be the focal point, being that I was like super light compared to all of them, I did stand out. That's just like having an Oreo cookie and you see the white in the middle. You could see it. There's no way around it. Elephant in the room. And I never liked that. I wish I was invisible. I wish I was dark. You know what I'm saying? So I could really identify and feel more bonded with my family instead of feeling like I'm adopted, though I'm not, according to my birth certificate, because I checked. I'm not adopted. but I feel like I am because I stick out so much. So I don't see myself as my dad. I have to look beyond that and stare at facial features, like structure outside of color. I see it once in a while, especially when I used to dress up as this character as Uncle Freddy, of course. But that was creepy. But I didn't like it. Period. Point blank. I've been with them. They say I'm family, but I don't feel like it, which probably explains a lot of the distance I have. And I can't change. I can change how I feel. You know what I mean? I don't. Oh, I hate them. They're stupid. Or go around saying, yeah, I'm adopted, just to make myself feel better. You know what I mean? But in here, it's kind of empty because my colors don't match any of theirs, and I stick out like a sore thumb. So I felt if I took on one of their complexions, I would have been closer to my family, my sisters especially. I believe we were close when we were younger, but as we got older, the outside looking in magnified on us, asking those questions. That's your sister? Like, you don't look like her. Or basically, that's your sister in the undertone, like, why the F is she so light? What happened to you? And that will make me feel bad for my sisters, and not only that, but for myself. So, video 3 in this colorism is seeing myself through the eyes of my father. I did not, and I still don't in my heart, even though we grew up together and all this XYZ and stuff, and family is family, and how families live together, Christmas and birthdays and going to children's events, and my name and stuff is on the birth certificate and XYZ. All the proof is there. All the tangible proof is there. The physical proof is there. But inside my head, right here, I can't see it. So having that feeling from a very early age, there unfortunately it built a disconnect between my family. And I really feel and believe that's what it is. Even though I love them and get along with them, it's just as an adult I have looked past it and embraced it, and I'm not faking it, but I don't feel like I fit in. So for that notion, I wish I would have been the color shade darker, darker, just so I wouldn't feel like I stuck out all the time. I really believe that as my sisters and I got older, we probably would have gotten more closer instead of a little more distant. But we love each other nonetheless. But how each person handles things, me talking to me, growing up in life, and the feeling of not really feeling a part of the family, we handle it differently. And I just chose to just separate myself. So it's like I drift in and out of their life. But I do love them. But in order for me to stay true to myself, I just feel like this with the family. Touch and go. There's 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 no connection like that. And it hasn't changed, but I don't hate them or anything crazy like that. It's just how I feel. So I don't see me when I look at my mom and dad. I don't see where I fit in. If I went to court and took tangible evidence, like I said, birth certificates, family photos, and all that stuff, it will prove that yes, I am a part of this family. But if there was a court where I had to take my heart to it, the judge will say no. So I made my peace in my head to pretend that I was adopted to make me feel, stop wondering that, because it is what it is. So I just tell myself I'm adopted just to hamper down all that ball of confusion on why this, why that. And it made me feel better, you know? Oh, she lied to herself. She lied to herself. Mm, I don't know how to phrase it. I'm just telling you how it is. Because in public, I always say these are my parents because they are. They are. I don't renounce my I don't renounce my parents or anything like that. For me to cope with these feelings and to move on until I find a better way to deal with it, I just tell myself secretly, yeah, I'm adopted. Thank you guys for adopting me. Thank you guys for loving me. You did the best you could. And that's that. And it brings healing to me thinking that way. So, be it as it may, this is LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy, giving you my perspective on seeing colorism through the eyes of my father, or what is it? Seeing myself, yeah, colorism, seeing myself through the eyes of my father, or you know what I mean. How I felt my dad saw me, or XYZ. Like, comment, and subscribe. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. I'm 80s, I'm 80s, I'm 80s, baby. I'm 80s, I'm 80s, I'm 80s, baby. Dance with me. Put your coffee down. Dance with me. Hi. Look at my arms. Goodbye. Yay. You're live. LIVE. Live and live. Both spelled the same way. However, when used in sentence form, could be defined differently or pronounced differently. Weird. Anywho, welcome back. I am LA, ELAY, LA pronounced like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. Welcoming you back to Colorism playlist, video section, video vlog. This will be number 4. Thank you for watching all my other ones. And if this is your first time, welcome, welcome, and welcome. Don't forget to push that subscribe button, push that thumbs up. I know in this world, things are tight financially, but it's free to press the thumbs up or the thumbs down. It is also free to press the subscribe button. Don't think that don't matter. That pressing the thumbs up or even the thumbs down and subscribing and or commenting don't matter, because it do. Okay, so go on and push some buttons on here to comment. This is Colorism video 4, topic seeing myself through the eyes of my dark-skinned sister. Colorism video 4, seeing myself through the eyes of my dark-skinned sister. The definition of colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone
typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the Black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. Colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among the people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the Black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. Topic once again, seeing myself through the eyes of my dark skinned sister. For some reason, as I go through these titles and read them out loud, it seemed like I should have phrased them differently. However, nonetheless, I feel that you guys will understand where I'm coming from, but I don't think I worded those titles correctly. I digress. And moving on. Colorism Part 4, seeing myself through the eyes of my dark skinned sister. If you have watched my previous video, my third video, seeing myself through the eyes of my father, I basically say, out of all my sisters in that particular household, I was the lightest, and I stuck out like a sore thumb. Having said that, we're going to bring it back to video 4, seeing myself through the eyes of my dark skinned sister. And when I say dark skin, she wasn't brown, she was dark. She was black, BLACK, not BROWN. And I'm not saying that to be mean, just so you can understand um the story I'm setting up for you, so you can see how I saw her through my eyes. You see me, my color. Can't even find my shade in the crayon box. You have to probably mix 2 or 3 colors together if you want to get technical. Because I'm not peach, I'm not yellow, and I'm not tan all the way. I'm tan in spots. So I had to mix them all together if you want to get technical. My sister, if she was to color herself, her color is in there. Dark brown, black. My other sister, she is, this is a weird color. I want to say burnt sienna. Lighter than burnt sienna, that color, crayon. It's a real pretty brown. It's kind of odd. But that's the color you would expect I would be. Along that grid between the two sisters, that's the age happened to me. Because our mother and father are not my color. Okay, 4. Seeing myself through the eyes of my dark skinned sister, and I'm not doing this to throw shade. I'm just doing this as a person who grew up in a family with a very weird color spectrum of children who came together. Um, I'm not mixed, I'm black, African American. Growing up, I remember, okay, we lived in an apartment. It was just my mom at the time, my older sister, who is the one I'm focusing on, who was considered dark to this world. Dark, and so I lived with her and my mom and myself. My little sister wasn't born yet. So I never saw color. I just knew she was a darker color. Darker. That's it. But the most important thing in my circle, in my world, was not that she was black. It was that she was my sister. And not only on top of that was she my sister, homegirl was tall. Tall to me. I think she still is taller than me. And on top of that, she was my big sister. So she was tall and she was my big sister. So that really made her look like a big sister because she even fit the type. She was tall. And she was really skinny. I thought that was neat too because it gave an extra illusion that she was like, ooh, tall and skinny. Oh, my sister gonna kill you with her spaghetti arms. She gonna choke you with her spaghetti arms if you mess with me. So that's how I saw her. I really didn't see color. It wasn't until the outside brought their views and 2 cents in. Outside meaning the world. Because, of course, you can't be sheltered. You can be. I was. I don't recommend it. Trying to stay on this subject here. You have to, there comes a point in time when your children have to go to school. You go to school, and that's when you learn. You learn how other households carry themselves, conduct themselves throughout their lifetime or during those moments of their life where this matter as colorism are introduced into their homes and talked about freely or in private. When you go to school, all of those opinions from all the other boys and girls from their homes in that neighborhood, all those thoughts and ideas and processes, speculations and accumulations fester into this place we call school. So, if you have no clue that something as major as the issue of colorism exists, you will soon find out in school. Having said that, I wasn't aware that my sister was dark until I believe my mom and I went to go pick my sister up from middle school. My sister was in middle school at the time, and I was in elementary. Middle school seemed like high school to me. And on top of that, the school she went to was huge to me. I mean, anything bigger, any school with more than one story is huge, especially in the eyes of a child. So I'm like, not only is my sister big, tall, my big sister, she go to this big A school. This girl is crazy slash brave. Didn't you talk to mom about going to a big A school like this? What's wrong with you? Don't they have smaller schools? Thoughts I kept to myself. I was a quiet child by choice. So, having said, taking going to middle school where my dark skinned sister went, my mom and I hopped into our Buick four-door blue car, one of my favorite cars she had. We drove to this middle school and picked up my sister after school because she was either on the track team or cross country. Regardless, one of those running sports, okay? Running sports, okay? Um, and to my knowledge, she was good at it and she really liked it. But it wasn't until then when after school, my sister, and primarily from what I saw, from my vision, being that I was shorter than everyone, and unfortunately I'm just naturally short, all I saw was like white legs. Because everybody was tall, including my sister, and the girls were just hanging around waiting for their rides and stuff, talking. Hey girl, how you doing? See you later. Work XYZ. Girl, practice was off the chain. But to my knowledge, I think there was only my sister who was the black girl there. And for some reason, it registered to me funny. And I didn't know why, or maybe even how to mention that to my mom. In my heart, I do believe I was in the passenger seat. No, I was in the back seat, passenger side. My mom was in the driver's side as we parked in front of the school. And I was like, something like, there's a lot of girls there. Why is my sister the only one there? And pretty much, I think that was all I was able to articulate at that time. But in my head, it was like, why is she the only color one there? Don't anybody else like her this sport? I don't even think color was in my head or race. I just saw them collectively as girls. So the question came out pretty much like, Isn't there anyone else like her there? Is she the only one there? You know, and I'm not sure if my mom understood that or not. Oh, girl, she not the only one there. She got friends and XYZ. Maybe she did or maybe she didn't. Maybe she didn't want to open up that can of worms. Because, girl, it's just not the time. You know, I got stuff to do that you don't know about. Brush it off with a simple answer. I didn't press it, but it hung with me. And there was another time, same situation, picking my sister up from one of those running sports. I actually got out the car, but I felt I shouldn't have, but I wanted to. I wanted to run up there and be amongst these big old people, these big old girls, because they were like adults to me. You know, just be a part of this the girlhood. Like, ooh, grown-ups, you know? And I have a pass to come up here to this big old school with all these girls who look like adults because my big sister is up here. You know, so I felt like, yeah, I'm gonna get out the car. I'm gonna go see my sister while she's out there because I don't even think she sees there. But even if she do see the car, she is in the middle of talking. So I mean, they're conversing. But I felt I should stay in the car. But unfortunately, I went against it because I want to kind of be big and bad. And like I could come up here because I have authority. My sister is here, so I ran up there. Gonna say hi to her, just to be amongst that. It's just so cool. I might have to paint a picture of that, literally with watercolors, because that was a happy time for me with my sister. And now that I'm telling you this, she never knew it neither. So it's nice to have video so I can express this. So I was going to see my big sister at this big A school and just be with all these big adults who I thought they were. My big sister didn't know nothing about color. Um, but it was surprising me slash took me back and kind of scared me a little bit. Was like the response I got from the white girls when they were like, "Oh, who is this? She's so cute. Whose sister is this? Little girl, who are you here for?" And the question registered outwardly, but internally it didn't. I'm like, what do you mean? Who am I up here for? I'm up here to see my sister and come get her so we can go home. Because inside I know I'm black, as a heritage, but not outwardly. Outwardly, apparently, I don't look like her, according to everyone else. But this was something I didn't know and wasn't aware of. There you go. It paused, so I quit talking. I'm going to see my sister. I'm going to see my sister. I'm black. She's black. Can't y'all see that we're black? Heritage. Heritage connects us. Blood connects us. But after that, I kind of could see like oh my gosh, who is she to? I want to see my sister and like, who? Your sister? Telma. Fudge. I wasn't supposed to say her name. I messed this up. And this is live. I'm so sorry. I gotta figure out a way to edit this now. This wasn't supposed to happen. What I'll do is keep talking and tell her I accidentally said her name, have her watch the video, and if she approves that this in here, I'll go on with it as follows. If not, I'll figure out a way to edit it. The whole reason of me live streaming is because I really don't have the equipment to hold such a volume of video while I talk. Dang, I sure hate I accidentally said her name. But anyways, I was like, I'm coming to see her, my sister. And their face went from like, ah, to hmm? So that made me feel bad too. Not bad. I felt bad for getting out of the car, going up there because I felt I did something wrong and humiliated my sister. Because it was then I realized that, it really put it out in front of me that we don't look alike solely by color alone. And that people glance at. They don't take the time to at least study facial features and say, "Oh, I see it." You know, they're gonna quickly glance at the surface. So that hurt me real bad because it made me feel bad that I know I hurt my sister. According to how I feel, I could feel it. It's like, man, I wish I never got out of the car. I am so sorry for getting out of the car. And maybe you don't see it this way. But you know, I've been living with this story all the whole time. I wish I just stayed in the car. I would have just stayed hidden. You know, it's just so I feel like I stole your shine, you know, and I didn't mean to. I didn't know. I just had no idea that color was such an issue. I honestly was colorblind. I didn't know what racism meant. I knew what it meant in short, like black hate white, but I didn't get it. And plus, the school I went to, I don't think there were any white people there anyways. So I really wasn't getting it, you know. So I do apologize for that, and I'll have to talk to her about this video and tell her the whole reasoning of it. I don't think she'll mind, but I want to get her permission because I accidentally said who her name is. For the record, my government name is Ursula. If it makes it even fair, you know, I'll just say it once because I said her name once. But I go by Elay simply because I don't like my real name. But that's a whole nother story. Um, yeah, I have to tell her, man. I wish I can get on the phone. I wonder if shoot, I don't have my other phone with me. I'm recording off this phone. I have two phones because two cameras, but the other phone is not in commission. Oh, but yeah, you know, I feel bad. I stole her shine, and I really didn't know that we looked differently until then. So through the eyes of my dark-skinned sister, speeding up from me being in elementary and her being in middle school to the time where we as a family moved to the suburbs. So she was in high school, I do believe, and I was probably in middle school or something like that. Who knows? But all I can say is when she got to high school and moved out to the suburbs, times had changed drastically. Meaning, according to what I saw in regards to my sister's life as a dark skinned girl, she went to a school in the suburbs. At that time was still a lot of white people out there. And if there were black people out there, they knew how to act right. And they had money, allegedly. So maybe they were above it all acting. I had no idea, you know, that people could act that way. But my sister, according to some of the stories I would overhear her telling my mother about, it don't seem like she never had a good day at school solely based on the fact that she was dark. And that made me sad and confused and worried. Because it's like, man, can't she just get a break? She, you know, that's my sister. But I'm like way younger than her, so I can't go to the school and say, leave my sister alone. I can't fight her battles. But hearing those stories, it seemed like I heard those more often than not, made me sad. I didn't know how to help her, you know, which is terrible. But I know it really made me feel bad for being light skinned though. Like, well, jeez. She got to take crap from high school people being all stupid about she dark and then gotta come home and see me. I just wish I was invisible or not even born. Not only when from this story I'm telling you, but from the story in Video 3, seeing myself through the eyes of my father. It's like I just wanted to be isolated. I just was like, why am I even here? You know? So I wish I wasn't even born. It was like, this is terrible. I'm making everybody else's life a living hell just based on my color alone. And I didn't want that. I just wanted my sister to be happy. She's married now, she even had children. I'm happy for her. She found love. But I wish her high school years, from what I saw, from my eyes, from my eyes, from my world, wasn't nice. It don't seem like people treated her too well. Just simply because she was dark. It was disgusting how people talked about her. And I wish there was something I could have done to help. But I was the little sister. So, like, who gonna listen to me is what I thought and strongly assumed. Why bring it up to my mom? Because I'm not even supposed to be listening anyways. But I mean, I can't help but hear them. Our walls to me were thin in that house, and she was loud anyways. And I was in my room, but apparently they knew I knew how to keep quiet, and I did. But I wish it would have helped. I know we went to church and stuff, but I still didn't grasp the whole concept of praying and casting all my cares to the Lord. I really didn't, I just went to church because I had to. Period. That's it. You know what I'm saying? At that point in life, church was because I'm a kid, my voice don't count, go to church. When I go to church. Pray when I say pray. So I didn't even think to pray for my sister. I love her. I'm sorry that she went through that, and I hope she not going through that colorism crap now, because I think she pretty. Seeing myself through the eyes of my dark-skinned sister. I'm just going to primarily talk about her because that's where I felt the hurt more at. I really wish I was their color because I feel that at least when she came home, she didn't have to see me. You know, according to what I heard, unfortunately, light skinned girls won and got everything. By this time, that's how it seemed like the world viewed us. And I didn't want any part of that, especially since my sister was on the other end of the dream pool. So I just wish I was darker. Because I didn't feel a part of the family, and I still don't. Um, that was a burden. Questions being raised like, what happened to her? She a part of your family? Oh, I see it. I see it. Yup, right here. I see it. Yup, yup, yup. I'm like, yeah, I see it too. But why you gotta react like that? Don't be trying to be funny to make people look bad. That stuff not funny. You don't treat people like that. So I would feel like being with my sisters collectively. I would feel so uneasy after knowing that there was a thing that colorism existed, because I stuck out. I would have rather said that. I would have rather them said and live with the fact to just say, oh, that's she's my cousin. She just lived with us. So the confusion and distance wouldn't have been there that I felt. It was not a nice feeling, and it still isn't. It would have been better off that way. I would have felt more comfortable with us three hanging together as a family, as the sisters, had they acknowledged me, or we just agreed to be acknowledged as, hey, she's our cousin. We took her in. Something like that. So we could just enjoy being in the public as one, as sisters. I would have um I liked it better that way. You know, we're all older and grown now, so I don't think any of us view each other like that, but I feel and believe that if I was able to figure out how to find my voice instead of thinking inside my head all the time, uh, things probably would have been better off as a whole, as our family. At least us three sisters. So we're close, but it could have been better. So this is me, LA. I have got to. I wish there was a way I could figure out how to edit this video because I accidentally said. And YouTube don't have their creator studio anymore, and I kind of depended on that, especially for moments like this, because I do need to fix that. So that's that. It's me, LA. LA pronounced like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. Signing out on my video 4 of colorism. And I'm going to close out with the definition one more time of what colorism is. Colorism, prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the Black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. And it is true. It is a battle, but that's okay. Um, it's a battle, but these videos are being made to help you win that battle. Okay? All right then. Shoot, I'm thirsty. Hey, what's up? It's me, LA, ELAY, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. This is my 5th video. Dang it, I was on the roll. Shoot, this is my 5th video in regards to my colorism series. Yay, so that means I have 5. 2 more to go in my 7-day series. Um, Today's video with colorism. Well, let me sit up. Today's colorism video is number 5. Seeing colorism amongst and between girls during elementary, middle, and high school. Oh, let's see here. I think what I'll do with this is probably not just have it focus on just the females, but also how it affected my point of view from both aspects, the male and females, maybe. I'm not sure. But today's title is Colorism Video 5, Seeing Colorism Amongst and Between Girls During Elementary, Middle, and High School. First, I'll start out with the definition of colorism. Colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial background. Colorism within the Black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. I'll read it again. Colorism, prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial background group. Colorism with the Black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. Hello, once again, I'm LA, talking about colorism, seeing colorism amongst between girls during elementary, middle, and high. Of course, I went to elementary, and it wasn't until I got into school I started to view the world, things, and life differently from how I thought it was just automatically supposed to be. And these views, especially of colorism, at the time I didn't know that there was actually a label for this type of practice or treatment towards others until I got way older. However, for lack of a better way of saying it, Colorism, I didn't experience what that was until I moved out of the inner city into what was considered suburbs at that time. Had I known what suburbs were, dang, it's like, is that the light or is that crumbs in the corner? Oh my gosh, y'all, excuse me. Y'all like, ew. I'm like, ew, what is this? I checked in the mirror before I got on here. I can't even edit this out. I try so hard. Yeah. Okay, if I knew exactly what the suburbs were, maybe I would have fought harder for us to stay where we were. I mean, I've voiced my opinion prior to, but if I really knew what the suburbs were, I would have really fought hard, or maybe I would even opened up a can of rebellion just so they could have me stay in the inner city. But that's another story. So I wasn't introduced to basically what colorism was until we moved there in the suburbs. And I moved out there when it was like 91, 92, because I started out there in second grade. So I didn't really realize what color I was until people pointed it out. I knew I was black, I knew I was African American, but far as my skin tone that you see now, I didn't really know that there was an issue until others started pointing it out. And I'm really trying to go back. I intentionally chose not to go back into the recesses of my mind as I wrote this script, only merely titles and key points, so this video could be as real and as authentic as possible as I actually take the time right now to think back exactly of all the experiences that stood out that added to this turmoil of the colorism crap that we all put up with and go through. Second grade, just moving out there in general just changed my whole aspect and outlook on life so bad. I just wish we never moved out there. I'm trying to stay on topic, so I keep looking back at my paper. Seeing colorism amongst between girls during elementary. Elementary. I knew that there were other girls there, but right off the bat they seemed mean. And not because they were dark neither. You know, they just the energy that they brought with them was like aggressive. And I was just naturally a quiet, polite person. Not saying that they weren't polite, they were just loud. And I'm just normally quiet. So those girls, unfortunately, at the time, they were dark skinned girls and they were really loud. And I know that's associated with dark people, black people being loud and obnoxious. But no, that's not the case. They were just really loud, and I didn't want to be around that. And then it kind of scared me because they talk so much. And it's like, I don't want to be talking all day. I'm in school. Why are you talking so much? And then the things that they were into, I wasn't into. I mean, I think I like boys. You know, I thought they were cool at the time. I kind of grew out of the boys have cootie stage, and I did like them too. But the way that they were just being all around them during recess and stuff, I'm like, dang, don't y'all have something else to do? Let these boys play basketball. You know, so I was like, they don't do anything that interests me. They're not talking about anything that interests me. However, they seem nice. As time went on, though, apparently my actions appeared to them that I was studious and stuck up and didn't want to be around my own people. And that wasn't the case. I did want to be around them. And it would have been nice if they just accepted me for who I was, that I was just quiet and just let me hang with them while they ran their mouths. I'm a good listener, you know. But apparently they thought I was better than them, not only because I was quiet, I kept myself from them. Then I was light with long hair. I'm like, here we go with this crap. What do you mean light with long hair? I'm looking around. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, there's plenty of girls around here with long hair. I still don't think I understood the light skin thing too much, cause that's it's coming from another black girl. I'm like, what's she talking about? Light skin. If anything, don't white people supposed to be talking to me like this? Not my own people. Aren't we supposed to be sticking together? So I'm like, in my head, it's a lot of people, a lot of girls around here with long hair. And then I realized how they said it, you know, black.
or a light skin, long hair. I'm like, I'm getting it. Oh, I'm looking around. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, okay, I look white per se. You know what I mean? I'm like, you guys need to just hang it up because now you making me feel bad to be me. You know, I start feeling uncomfortable in my own body because you just assumed that I didn't want to hang with you guys, and I didn't, and not because I thought I was better than y'all. That I was denouncing my ethnicity and chose to be white. I'm like, no, these people now they're nicer to me. And yeah, I do feel like I fit in more outwardly. But best believe I didn't feel like I fitted with them anywhere else except outwardly. That was second grade. I'm not gonna say the names of those girls, but I do remember them first and last name. They were so wishy washy, you know. It was like one minute they liked me, one minute they hated on me, one minute they liked me. I'm like, well, what is it gonna be? One minute I'm acting white and I'm light skinned and think I'm better, and the next minute you talking to me. Don't just go away now, cause now it's stuck in my head. You really don't like me, especially because my hair is long and my skin is different, and I'm not hanging with people my color. That was like second grade. I remember exactly the area where I stood and everything. They probably said these things over and over, but it wasn't until that day and that moment I realized it sunk in that them repeating that phrase over and over, it was like me being me is not cool and I'm being punished for it or something. That happened in second grade. And it really didn't get any better. Third grade, I didn't see too much colorism, too much, because when we sat at our desk in groups of 4 or 5, I wasn't with them. I was at a desk with all boys. Isn't that something? So apparently the teachers recognized that there was an issue between the girls and who got along and who didn't, cliquish. So now that I'm looking back, I'm thankful for those teachers. In third grade, I remember my table, it was all boys. And then it was a light skinned boy my color. He was a weird color. I think I'm a weird color shade. And he was too. And then on top of that, his eyes were different colors. So I'm like, okay, yeah, put the freak shows together, I suppose. Now that I'm looking back at it, I mean, he looked weird and I looked weird. And then this other guy with this, he was nice, but he was a geek. So I guess that was weird to have a insanely smart black guy. So now that it was like the freaks sat together. And out of the freaks of the group of the class, I was the one. But I liked that table. I felt comfortable sitting there with the guys because they weren't, at least around me, they weren't talking that race stuff, that color, long hair, light skin crap. So at least, even though I didn't like going to that school at that time, especially with that teacher in third grade, because she was mean to me, at least I had some comfort at the table amongst the guys because they didn't pick on me like that. I felt like I belonged somewhere. So thanks to my teacher, even though I thought she was mean, for pointing out something apparently I didn't really peep out. Thank you for not sitting me at a table with stupid girls. Thank you for not sitting me at the table with my own people who were girls, especially, because I wouldn't have been able to learn a thing. Fourth grade was the same. However, we had individual desks, and I was starting to catch on a little bit more to the rigmarole of how these girls talked, carried on, and what they were really about when they came to school and what they were really about after school. It's like the same attitude they had in school is the same attitude they had out of school, summer vacation, and when they talked on the phone. It never changed. What you doing? What you eating? We went to the movies. She's stupid.
light skin this. I wish I had long hair, or you should get a perm. I'm like, I don't want to engage into any conversations about anything like this if that's all y'all talk about. I can just keep to myself. So, second through fourth grade, I realized that girls were fake, but I don't think we were using that word at the time. I knew they got boys were gonna like you, dark skinned girls were gonna be mad at you because they just felt intimidated that the guy that they were liking weren't gonna be looking at them because they're gonna be looking at me or any other black girl with long hair and light skin. You're taking away my chances of getting the man I like. You know, that's exactly what I was vibing without them having to directly say it. Um, I talk to them too, and I like being around them per se, but I didn't want it to go past. I didn't want to go past the class. I didn't want them coming over. I didn't like when they called me on the phone, those girls. So you may be asking, why did you talk to them on the phone? I didn't want to. That was my mom. They forced me to do so many things because they thought it would be good for me, but I tried to tell them I don't like talking on the phone, number one. Number two, I don't like them like that. I tried to explain it, but we just didn't have anything in common. So I just never really wanted to talk to those girls when they called me on the phone. I really hated it, and I don't like using the word hate. So thanks a lot, Mom. Let's see here. Fifth grade, I think it was fifth grade. I know it was in middle. Over in that area started from fifth through eighth. And there was some chick, maybe I was in fifth or sixth grade. We had homeroom in the library or something, and I was hanging around the table with a group of girls. It had to be five or six. It was cool. I liked the fact we were in school, but we had a type of freedom. It was like homeroom, but it was in the library, but still we were at tables. And I said with girls, it was all black girls. I didn't like that because I knew the type of energy they were going to bring and the conversations they were going to have based on the TV shows that they watched or didn't watch. And just our lives were different. They really were. And at that time, it was pointless for me to talk to them about what we did or didn't do at our house because I didn't want to be the focal point of the conversation. So I just chose to just be quiet. But there was this time when someone told me that a girl at our table was trying to cut my hair with scissors, and I didn't know what to do to believe them or not. All I had to go on was based on the fact that this girl who was allegedly at my table trying to cut my hair with scissors, it probably was true because her attitude, from what I saw, sucked. I didn't know what was wrong with her. She was nice, but then she wasn't. You know, it's like she was nice, but don't trust. But I didn't like that. It didn't make me feel nice because her hair wasn't long and mine was. And it just made me feel uneasy because, you know, if that was the case, if this girl was behind me trying to cut my hair, why was the other girls in front of me who could see what was going on not even telling me anything until maybe she missed or chickened out, or maybe she did cut some of it and I didn't feel it. But at the same time, yeah, I'm like, well, what were you guys doing to prevent it, opposed to wait until after the fact that something happened? So of course I got mad because it's like I have all this stuff in my head. Where were you guys at the table if you want to sit at the table with me and and wondering why I'm always isolated, but then only want to react after the act is done? How can I sit up here and tell all these girls that? Because they were way bigger than me and way advanced too, because they got out of the house and Lord knows what else they did when they were at home and their parents were at work. Because they were fast there, and so they were probably a mess at home. But who's judging? So that really made me not want to deal with anybody, especially if they were not my color, because it's like folks trying to cut my hair, people getting mad for something I can't help. I can't change even if I wanted to, except shave my head. But that's one out of the two. Okay, I'll be light skinned but bald, but I probably still will be cute and pretty. So I wouldn't be able to win either way. Colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the black community has been a serious emotional psychological battle. So it didn't take a rocket scientist to know that girls, number one, can be devious. Number two, they're highly insecure. Number three, I'm better off by myself. Number four, if I want some friends, they need to be pretty just like me and have my same color and long hair because at least we'll be on the same page and won't be hating on one another. And that's how I developed that because I got tired of getting picked on by dark skinned people and girls who just had, who could have been light but had short hair. They didn't do anything because they still were getting picked on too. So I felt like we could have, stuck together better. So in my head, I'm like, well, I'll just be with a black girl as a friend who's looking sharing the same fight, and I'm quite sure she'll have my back because she getting picked on for the same reasons. The thing about that was, even with that, when I wanted to find someone to hang out with, because I was very lonely during almost my entire existence. Even though I'm a friendly person, it was very, very long. So it was hard to find friends based on the standards that I set for myself. And out of the two I can remember, one was really nice, but to me she was a little too fast. So it's like I don't, and the life that they lived, it just didn't click right with me. They weren't bad or anything. It wasn't, I wouldn't want it to go over her house, and I wouldn't want her to come over to mine because our friendship was better just at school because there was something centering around us talking, maybe gym class, maybe doing some homework or something. But outside of that, I don't see how we could have continued being um friends. It just wouldn't have made any sense because our hobbies were totally different. So what's the point? So I just kind of quit being her friend just like that. So I'm like, I don't have time for this. The other one came from a different background of religion, so it made me feel bad because I knew right off the bat my parents probably weren't going to let her come over because they were Jehovah's Witness. But she fit the criteria, a nice person, really smart, creative, funny, quiet, a reflection of myself, I thought, So I'm like, yeah, well, I started being with friends with her too, but I was hesitant because once again, and I was true, once my family found out they were Jehovah's Witnesses or something, I don't think it sat too well with them. Oh, I don't know, Jehovah's Witness don't believe in XYZ, and I don't want them to try to convert you all. I'm like, what the H are they talking about? Every time I ask to do something, y'all don't want me to do it. So, seeing colorism amongst between girls during elementary, middle, and high. In the summary between elementary and middle, I learned that I'm better off alone because it's too much work trying to make friends with people with girls, and I need to be studying. Trying to make friends who are trustworthy and not stab you in the back is harder than trying to get A's and B's in class. So I had to choose. I had to pick my studies over finding some friends because it was just too much work. It's like I don't trust any of them based on how they um treated me for my skin. I will say I did fall into the trap voluntarily of calling someone who was darker, really dark, but pretty in complexion, black, and teasing and falling into it only because she really made me mad. That's not my style, teasing somebody because they're black. But I got really tired of the isolation, I got tired of getting picked on. I got tired of them double talking, saying, "Oh, she's really nice," in front of adults and other people. "Oh, she's so nice, but she's just quiet." But then when nobody around, they're sneak dissing me and talking about you're white and you trying not to be black and X Y Z, and I'm like, you know what? So yeah, I started teasing her because her skin was dark, just because it made me upset, and I didn't know I couldn't go beat her up. So yeah, so I do admit falling into that, but I got real quick because I knew it was wrong, and it didn't feel right doing that after a while, but at the time it did, cause I wasn't getting any type of emotional support from home about it, and I probably didn't bring it up too much when I saw that the issues weren't being addressed in the way that I felt that they cared anyways. So I figured it out on my own the best way I could, and I kept going. Middle school, as I got older, it just got harder because, girls are really growing up and now are starting to turn into young women. You know how that is. And so by the time I was probably in seventh grade, a lot of the girls, skin or not, they developed, into their womanly figure and all that crap. And I was slow on that curve too. So now it's like, where am I gonna fit in now? Okay, I'm light skinned, I'm nice and long hair. But that wasn't even fitting the bill because I didn't have I didn't have boobs or anything, so I got talked about even worse. People watching this video who me or went to school with me. I'm not pointing anybody, I'm just talking. Oh, we never would treat you like that. We never would talk about you. I know you were young and dumb back then, but I'm just saying now because a lot of you guys have kids now. Just look in the mirror and do some reflection. So if your son or daughter come talking to you about people talking to me because my hair talking about me because my hair is long and they don't want to be my friend, look into what they're saying because that stuff can affect you and it's messed me up a lot. It may seem petty, but it do mess up a lot of social development. um and girls who are talking about my skin is dark or my skin is light and people picking on me, you guys need to really focus on that because it can really mess up your sons or daughters. I'm mainly talking about daughters, everything, and view on themselves, the world, and even how they see men. So it's very important. Oh boy. It didn't get bad until seventh or eighth grade from the boys because they would actually come up to tell me if you would be perfect if you had if you had breast. I'm like, why would you tell me that? You light skin and have long hair, but if you had breast, you would be perfect. I'm like, I'm at school. I don't like going home. I don't have any friends. Math is getting hard. And now you telling me this in front of my face in front of boys? That's not a compliment. That's an insult. Why would you tell me that in front of all these guys? And it wasn't a one-time event. It was done sprinkled throughout my seventh and eighth grade year. I'm like, what are you getting at? Okay, you like me, but I'm not perfect, so I don't fit the bill now. So okay, so I guess when I hit seventh grade, I guess when I hit seventh grade, black girls, if you black and you light skin and have long hair, you better have a booty and breast too because it's like, oh my gosh. So I'm not learning what I'm supposed to be learning about anything, because people they're telling me this. I never told my parents that. Why? I learned long time ago I'm on my own when it comes to self-esteem issues because they didn't do a good job telling me um telling me things that I should, just addressing it to the best they know how instead of just kind of fanning it off. Boys gonna be boys. They didn't mean it. I just need that was pretty stupid. So in seventh and eighth grade, I learned that, and it did hurt because it's like, oh my gosh. So it's like, okay, I'm not gonna get a boyfriend now I can't make my breasts grow. Okay, but I'm light skinned and I have long hair. But that don't cut it anymore because my body is not like everybody else's. So they started going to the dark skinned girls then. So dark skinned girls, ow, listen to me on this too. Um, you're dark skinned, you're gonna get talked about by boys and girls. But when you start, your body starts developing and something happens all of a sudden, all these boys give you attention. It's not because you're so fine per se, unfortunately. It's because you got a butt and some breasts and some hips, a woman's body, and all they want to do is do stuff to you. So keep that in mind too. It's gonna feel good to get the attention. You're gonna finally think, he thinks I'm pretty. He thinks I'm pretty. But what happened to all those other years before him when he wasn't checking for you? You got to keep that in mind because they are visually driven. Unfortunately, most of them are visually driven. So keep that in mind so you don't lose something that you're not ready to lose yet, okay? Because the tables do reverse. I can tell you that now. Like I said, elementary through early middle school, light skin, long hair. I'm pretty. I'm perfect. Life on the pedestal. But as soon as all the girls' bodies started developing, I didn't care what shade, what race. Oh, you best believe they weren't checking for me because I didn't have the complete package. So not only was I quiet, they thought I was shy, antisocial, and I didn't have a body. People, I didn't learn anything with school but self-hate, self-shame, to develop low self-esteem. So yeah, it's a mess what color how far colorism can go. Colorism happens at an early age and it just opens a door. You know how most people say, "Oh, if you smoke marijuana, it's the gateway drug to crack cocaine and heroin and acid." Okay, well, colorism is an open door to self-harm, self-infliction, overeating, bulimia, hurting yourself to kill yourself, being antisocial, being depressed, dabbling into religions that you have no business because you're just trying to fit in. You guys, colorism is a gateway to a depression if you don't address it correctly because in school, these kids, it's a frightening wake up call, especially now. And I'm not even in school anymore. These kids are super smart thanks to the internet and super grown and intelligent acting. And the words that they say to these kids, it's got to be more worse than how we felt. And I felt like trash then, you know? But of course, I did a good job of hiding it and being quiet. Because in my head, it's like, what's the point? I have homework to do. I'm just a kid. I can't get a job yet. I gotta go home. I gotta do this for how many more days? I gotta go to school for how many more years? I haven't developed a sense of self or confidence because they shattered that. So when I go to school, I still have all those things they said to me in my head. It's a mess, y'all. It's a big mess. It's a big fat mess. Oh, colorism is a beast, you know. So I know since I'm a girl, boys have it the same too. So I'm just saying, since I'm a girl, I can really only speak for myself, but I know boys go through this too. So guys, find somebody you can talk to or find a way you can, we have social media now. So, find a group of people who are going through the same thing so you won't feel so alone. I'm thankful for social media because social media wasn't as prevalent when I was growing up and booming like this. Because I think it would have saved me from making a lot of bad decisions that I made because I didn't have anybody to talk to about all this stuff. So I just carried it over to the next grade, to the next grade, and to the next grade. Think that's enough about that. When I got to high school, seeing colorism through the voices of hearing boys conversate say this scared me too. It made me it added to the affirmation of me not wanting to have a daughter, because I would hear guys talking about, man, I don't want to date no black girl because they can't they hair. I don't want my daughters to have messed up hair. So, wow, these are conversations that I would hear. Being that I was quiet, I did keep my mouth shut, and that was over 20 years ago. So I'm talking now because I'm not putting names to faces, but now I'm just sharing this to make a point that, guys, if you're gonna talk like that, be aware that maybe there's no chicks around. You guys have your shop talk at the shop with your boys and not around girls, because what you say we're listening to, because maybe we don't know anything about what guys think because there's no father in the home present mentally or both. Guys you can have a dad at home, but he not there mentally, so he's not there at all. It don't matter. Shoot, what you're saying, especially when it comes to something about, what type of girl you want, and it's got something to do with mostly the physical, because girls are listening, because girls want boyfriends, girls want to be married. But when you saying stuff like that and you're black and you're saying that about your own people, it's kind of discouraging, because yes, I was light skinned. Yes, I did have long hair, but my hair wasn't the texture that these other races have. So I fell right into that category, and it made me feel so bad, because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you know what, you're right. I would feel bad to have another black girl because I don't want her to deal with this crap about hair. And I don't even know how to do my hair. So why would I bring another life into this world, and nobody gonna want her anyways? Terrible, isn't it? But this is the stuff I heard, and unfortunately, it stuck with me. All the bad stuff that I'm talking about stuck with me more than the stuff that we were supposed to learn. Come to think of it, how the world did I graduate? You know what I'm saying? I don't remember any of the stuff that they taught us in school. What I walked out from school was learning a lot of bad. Um, but it really hurt to hear that, and it just keeps me it just I'm still speechless to this day, just thinking about hearing that conversation in that class. I knew exactly where I was, class it was, I knew where I sat, I knew where they sat when I heard that. And and I know if the other girls who were dark skinned who were in there heard it too, I don't know how they took it. It probably could have been worse. But it's like, why would you say that? And I heard it a few times throughout my high school experiences, black guys saying, man, I don't want, I want to have a daughter by somebody mixed because I don't want my kids having nappy hair. I'm like, that's it. But it still hurt because it's like, since we're getting punished because our hair, so it was very confusing. It was very confusing. And I'm going to get off topic a little bit, but it hurt because I would hear, well, I better not say that. I don't know. I'll stay on topic, but that stuck with me, and that scared me too, because it's like, okay, light skin is in, but your hair got to be good too now, and you got to have a booty, and you got to have breasts, and your hair got to be good, and you got to be long. I'm like, well, I don't fit the wifey category or girlfriend category anywhere. So I had an epiphany. Color, at the end of the day, apparently color don't matter. No, black people, black women don't matter. You know, so it was just so hard. It was so much stuff going in my head. It was so appalling, and it still is, because I'm quite sure if I experienced this was 20 years ago, guys are still going around having these same conversations. Go on to have them, but don't have them around females at least. Guys, if you're gonna talk about women, do that crap amongst yourselves and make sure no girls around, because the same girls you're talking about, you might end up marrying, you know? Or look at me, for example. shoot, hearing that conversation in high school, overhearing that conversation in high school, really started the doorway of me not even wanting to have a daughter. Period. Like if I found somebody and got pregnant or something, I'm like, shoot, this is stupid. It made me think like, okay, well maybe I'm an exception to the rule. They'll put up with me because I'm light and I'm nice. Maybe because just because I'm nice, that's overriding the fact that I don't have a big chest and my hair isn't good. Maybe since I'm nice, that's why they putting up with me because I'm the closest to black good they gonna get. This colorism stuff can run deep, man. And it affects not only my shade, it affects dark people's shade. It's horrible, especially when you're young. It can really shape your views. It shaped my views real bad. It really messed me up in the head. And then on top of me not having anybody to talk to about it who really was gonna listen and not just shoot me off or shoot off Bible verses and affirmations just to shut me up so they can get on back to whatever was going on in their world. Feeling that type of rejection too, that I was always in the way. So I just did more self internalizing, figuring stuff out on my own. You guys, colorism is it's creepy of what the damage it can do if it's not addressed. The topic as a whole is scary to talk about when you bring in a child into a world, especially a girl, no matter what color. It's like, I'm sorry, this is what you're going to probably be facing in school because you're this particular shade of color, be it light or dark. You know, it's tiring and exhausting. It's so many compartments and stuff that you have to talk to your kids about. I know you may not want to because you just want the world to be. And so to even introduce them to stuff like colorism, just let it at least come from you. They probably may cry and hurt and say why, but I can guarantee you they will rather hear it from you, someone they love, opposed to getting introduced to colorism and body shaming. And if you don't have the perfect body, you're not gonna get a man or he gonna cheat on you stuff. It will be better if you taught your daughters and sons this from you the right way, not this ignorant crap, but teach them the right stuff. So when they do start hearing all this stupid talking in school, it won't be as big of a shock. It still may hurt, but at least they heard it from you guys, is what I'm saying. Colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. This stuff is no joke, man. It affects no matter what shade. And at the end of the day, it's non exclusive because what it is, if you look deep at all these rules, a lot of people feel bad because it's like you're never good enough, period. And you can slip into a depression based off that. Some people will dig deep and internalize if they're trying to find these answers. So putting people in different boxes saying they have to have this, and that, fine. But don't be speaking that as gospel for how everybody should follow it, because that's not the way. That's not the way at all. Oh, goodness. This is me, LA. Pronounced like LA, not like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. Signing off on video 5 about colorism. Seeing colorism amongst and between girls and boys during my life from elementary, middle, and high school. Colorism did a number on my mental status of how I viewed everybody. All the way down to the point of me wondering whether or not I want to have a daughter. Based on all the crap I heard throughout second high school, not including college yet. This stuff is serious, man. This stuff runs deep, man. This stuff is terrible. Oh.
Setting up the camera. Uh, Welcome back to my show. It's me, LA, ELAY, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. Welcome to my colorism series session. We are on number 6, and I did a little changing around. So today's number 6 topic will be colorism, seeing colorism during my college years. Seeing colorism during my college years. We're going to just start right off. This is video 6. Welcome to all of you new subscribers, and thank you for subscribing, and welcome returning subscribers. It don't take much to make a comment, to press a like or dislike, because it's a contribution. So don't think that simply pressing that you like the video or don't like the video or putting the comment down, be it negative or positive, is not helping, because that's good too. You don't necessarily have to give money, but giving a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a comment, that's free, but that's still giving too. So that's how I see it. Commenting is giving. If you want to show support and you feel you don't have any money or just don't want to give that girl no money, well, at least put a thumbs down on it. Everything helps. Everything helps. All right, colorism, part 6. I'll start with the definition. Colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. Colorism, prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. Mind, people. It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. You can be spiritually quadriplegic if your mind isn't clear of these stupid thoughts. There's a lot more people disabled around here than you know. Just because they're walking around here with their arms and legs don't mean squat, because their brain is filled with crap. So let's start right in. Number 6, colorism. Seeing colorism during college. I did go to college, unfortunately, and we'll get into that. That's another story. So since I went to college against my desire, unfortunately, it was there too where I did not get a break from hearing all the wonderful joys of having certain skin colors. And since we were in college, since I was in college, apparently we were officially all grown. 18 and everything. You know, we're grown, we 18, we're in college, we can do anything we want. I mean, it's in living color for black people. You can do what you want to do because we in college. And apparently they can say what they want to. Hashtag no filter when you in college, because you are grown. So you can't do what the F you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Oh, so I'm in college freshman year, and unfortunately, everything I learned in college was a bunch of crap. And one of the things pertaining to this subject that stuck out the most with me, when I did once again try to give this social mingling another round. I really tried. I did have a select few girls I hung around. There were 2 of them. They're really nice. Hey y'all, if y'all remember me, if you're watching it. But outside of that, I tried to just mingle with people who were older than me, because I was 18 when I went to college, but of course there were 23-year-olds and higher there. And at our campus, I went to a community college, rolling my effing eyes. So there were people from the university down the road who would come to our college and take classes too, and whatever else they did. But there was one particular time I thought it would be cool. I got invited to sit with a group of people that my two friends per se sat would sit with, okay? Because usually I wouldn't hang up at the college for when I once I got out, because I had to go to work unfortunately right after college classes are over. But this time I had some time to stick around to see what their social life was after the after studies are over. I finally got to do that, and I didn't like it. Based on it was the same thing. Conversations were weak. We weren't talking about anything. But they were nice, I guess. For the most part, they were. I wouldn't, if they needed a ride, I would have given them a ride. They needed help with something, I would have had them because there wasn't anything evil or I don't feel safe around them. It's just a conversation. This was a group of people from another university, and they were white people there. He was a white guy who said it. Um, he seemed like a dork, and then he was with his friends, and then I guess there were some white girls at the other end too. So I got invited to the group because, the other two African American girls I hung around with, they're like, oh, this is my friend that we told you about. She goes to work or something usually when we're here, XYZ. So that's how I got in at the table. And I was painfully quiet, but it was nice to be there to at least hear them as I tried to do my studies and try to feel a sense of belonging. I didn't feel like I stood out too much as far as my color. I just felt I stood out so much because I was unbelievably quiet and they didn't like that. And then they continued their conversation because I believe I was so quiet they forgot I was at the table, which was perfect because they started talking about girls at at the university I went to, and specific females the uni at the at my at the university. I'm getting it all mixed up. I have coffee, as you see. Wake up, brain. They started talking about people from their campus. They went to a university, and they started talking about the girls on our campus, which was a community college. So of course, they're like, "Oh, you went to Bridgeport." They did ask that. I'm like, "Yeah." So do you know XYZ? And in my head, I'm like, "Unfortunately, I do." Another light skinned chick. Oh God, we used to be friends, whatever. But yeah. So, anyways, I didn't really want to talk about her too much, and I guess they figured. But they were like, yeah, yeah, she's a cool black girl. We know a couple of black people. Yeah, you guys aren't friends anymore. And I was like, no, I just want to keep to myself and left it as that. Well, I like her. She's beautiful. I like girls of color. I'm like, why would you say that? Can't you say anything? I don't even like the girl. But I'm not going to be saying something crazy like that. That's just crazy. If you don't have anything to say, just be quiet. But I'm not going to hate her or anything. She's nice. But she's just not this type of person I want to be around. If she needs help, I do have her. Or things like that. I like that. Just people you just probably a work associate type level thing, but we just don't have anything in common outside of that. We grew apart. But this guy just straight out said some, oh, I like people that color. Oh my gosh, their skin is so beautiful. And the girl he's referring to, we're the same exact color. Okay, we're black, but it's just crazy. I'm like, do you know, hello, I'm at the table, I'm black. That's a compliment. I think that's what you're trying to reach for. Fine, but the thing is, the girl who invited me to the table was black. I mean, like dark. So I felt bad for her. I'm like, why am I always getting in situations like this? I see maybe you're trying to be nice and XYZ, but you have to be aware that you just dissed the girl who invited me to the group that's darker than me. You just dissed her, and she's been friends with you way longer than me. So it kind of made me feel weird. I'm like, okay, hello, girl in my head. So you see how he really feel about you by conversing with me. So what is it that you're doing, or what is it that do you have that makes him tolerate you if that's what he rather be around or prefer, and you're really dark? It just made me mad. I'm like, it's not my place because she invited me to the table, so I'm not getting ready to go save people and stand up for people. That's just not my place. But it hurt, and from that moment, I was like, I'll just chill by myself. Or when you guys, get some time want to hang with me, that's cool. That just didn't sit well with me. I knew what he was saying, but I'm like, even within the white race, you know, they don't like dark skinned people. Growing up from what I see, they don't like dark skinned people. But if they had to choose from some black people, they'll choose people our color. And it's like, I feel like a cancer person. I remember I'm saying this story to say, I was in a relationship with someone not my race. And I felt like I was just, oh, you're really nice, but if you were white, it would be perfect. And that's the tone I was getting. So, having said that to say, hearing that, oh my gosh, you are so nice. And I'm so thankful that you're this shade of color because it would be really hard to just tolerate you. I feel sorry for dark skinned people because it's like, hearing that from this guy from who was older than us from a university say, "Oh, I like people that color. They're so pretty. They're so beautiful." And wow, I feel sorry for the dark skinned girl, and I feel sorry for the white girls at the table. I'm like, isn't that your girlfriend? So now she gonna be probably want to be tanning her little skin all day around the clock. I'm like, you insulted my friend who's dark, and then not only that, I'm assuming that's your girlfriend. You insulted her too. Do you just realize what you've done, dude? It's terrible. So I felt sorry for the white girl too because now she probably feeling some type of way like I'll never be like that. Or she gonna want to be over tanning and putting herself at risk for super wrinkly skin and cancer. That's just not cool, man. So what I'm saying is trying to look through the lens of a dark skinned person, it feels bad because it's like white people don't want to deal with black people, period. Okay, they don't want stress. So the best way to deal with it is just not deal with them at all. But dear Lord, if we have to, let's just get someone who looks our color at least, so we can kind of forget um who we're associating with or having to deal with. And heaven forbid they open their mouths because their language is horrible. So God, I hope she is at least light skinned and don't speak. I hope she's educated so I won't feel like I gotta vomit in my coffee. Cause not only I gotta put up with a black person, she can't even speak our freaking language. Crap like that. So it's terrible that you gotta put up with all that being a darker person. Everybody's got their cross to bear. Some people's are harder than others. Okay, so you have to remember that too. Just be glad you're in America. Okay, yeah, we're glad we're in America. Yay, we are. Now that we're in America, we have other things to deal with too. So that's pretty heavy. So I think this video is going to be pretty short because that was the thing that stuck out to me the most in college, hearing that story, because it's like, why would you say that in front of your girlfriends or in front of your people? You just diss them. And I don't really think he was trying to say that to be down in the black clique. It seemed pretty authentic. So dude, if you're feeling like if your preference is a person with some color, you need to own that and quit being comfortable and not true to yourself and go on and date somebody who's melanated. And so you don't be feeling like you letting your people down too. So having said that, guys, girls, if you find yourself wanting to even marry somebody who's outside your race because it's a love thing, you need to go on and do it instead of just like, I'm gonna just stay within my race just to not rock the boat so I don't have stuff to deal with. You're always gonna have issues. So marrying someone else out of your race is just another issue per se that you have to just work with. But at the end of the day, you'll be super happy in your heart and far as health too. because you didn't settle. You don't want to settle, especially for somebody when you're doing something like marriage. That's forever, especially if you want to be committed to that person forever. You better marry somebody that you love. Don't be just staying inside your race because your mama gonna disown you, your daddy gonna disown you. Think about it this way: they already disowned you. They're just controlling you to make you stay in a spot so they won't feel like idiots. You're going to be ruining their lives. You're not ruining yours. You'll be ruining theirs because they're so worried about the outside looking in and with the crap in the kingdom that they built. So, white people, Mexican people, however, any race, yeah. If you find yourself falling for someone who's not your color and you really believe he or she is the one, go for it because this will only bring you two closer together. A lot of people aren't willing to deal with the type of affliction that they will get when dating outside their race. If you want someone outside your race, but you're not willing to put up with the sacrifice and having to be humble and deal with things and really understand your mate and see where they're coming from and knowing what you're gonna have to deal with day in and day out, don't even mess with them. Or if you want to see how things are on the other side of the fence, get a prostitute. Don't be using people who ain't like that. Get somebody who's selling themselves who's outside your race so at least they know what it's all about. So you don't be leading people on having broken hearts. Pay her, do what you got to do, and then be on your way. But don't be messing with people who really are in want to be in a relationship, because this is a fragile situation. It's very delicate. So if you want to play the game that way, you better play it right. And then second of all, white people, just you got to look inside yourself too, because we are in a different generation. We are not our mothers and we are not our fathers, and we may not see colorism like our parents have taught us. And that's good. That's a struggle within itself, realizing that some ways that our parents taught us to look at other people is wrong, is ignorant, is foolish. Yeah, I get why you may look that way or think that way, but things have changed. So you have to stand up for yourself too, because if you have kids or plan on having kids, you are going to be that example. So regardless, you're going to have to fight for this period if you don't want your kids to be effed up in the head. You're going to have to show them a new view to which you see. So that is a fight, because your parents are going to may not want to see you, sure as heck are going to want to see those grandkids. So you're still going to have to embrace this color stuff some way, shape, or form. Just prepare for it, knowing that if you can't do it for yourself, don't mess up your kids, because the cycle will continue. And don't you white people want to just always be better? Well, look in the mirror and embrace this crap so your children can be better at least. This is a mental thing, okay? African American people, you black people, the same thing. The way you see white people, grow up. Everybody bleeds the same. Everybody has a skin color. This is the color spectrum. There's black, there's white. So in the middle of this is going to be different colors, okay? But we're all the same, okay? So let's just get that in our heads. I love the diversity of having all these wonderful colors around. The world would be so boring if everybody was all white. It would be. And coming from my point of view, the world would be so boring if everybody was all black. Like, it's got to be something more to this. So I love the mixture and embrace the mixture. And if you choose to just stay within your own race, that's fine. That's your beliefs. But don't turn your noses up if your son or daughter happen to have different views. Don't disown them just because they may have different views. Because if you disown them, you disown their grandchildren too. Because they may not want to bring their grandchildren around you with an attitude like that. So think about that too. You're going to be dividing a family. You say black people don't stick together as a family, but check if your child marries outside their race, you're disowning them. So that's a separate. So put that in your heads too if white people want to stay together as a unit. Get this colorism crap out of your head, because at the end of the day, it's going to come down to whether you want to support your kid on this or not. You're going to divide that family, and a family that is divided will fall. I don't care what race and how much money you got. Okay? Um, like, dislike, comment, share. If you have anything else you want to ask me about this colorism stuff, put it in the comments so maybe I can elaborate on it. This is LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy, talking to y'all about my view of colorism through my eyes. Now it's your turn to make a video about seeing colorism through your eyes. Let's get this going. Setting up the camera. I'm setting up the camera. You should have been ready. Wow, this is live. I do as I please. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yay. My hair is so long and fluffy. Okay, welcome back. This is LA TV you're watching. My name is LA. Um, LA like the city. I'm really messing it up. Okay, can take two pretend? Hello, this is me, LA. Pronounced like ELAY or something like that. LA like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. I cannot edit this, so this is real live raw footage. Ha! Video 7. I made it. Yay. Video 7 of the colorism series. And this is pretty much going to be a wrap up of everything I talked about. And I'll probably add in some more pointers that I forgot to add in the previous videos. Welcome, you've made it to the end of this colorism series, this colorism journey, and my goal was to not only to inform you of how I view things, but to get a dialogue going amongst your family and friends and sisters, and even in your own mind, to just look this crap in the mirror, you know. Sometimes the hardest part in dealing with stuff is just actually looking at it because it's so ugly. You know, like when you're watching Chucky and Freddy Krueger for the same time. Once you got past looking at how ugly he is and really got into the movie, you get it. So just take life like that, okay? It's okay to be scared, it's okay to be afraid, but just don't let it paralyze you to the fact that nothing gets done. And you pass that mess on to the next generation. Yeah, it's not fair. We gotta fight our parents' battles because they were somewhere else, lost into the figments of their imagination to deal with the stuff. Now we have to. If you want the world to get better, not only do you have to fight off their crap, you gotta fight your own demons too. And that's just the bag we're handed with. But just imagine if we don't deal with it, our children will have 3 times as much stuff to deal with. And these kids crazy too. We were crazy then. So, you know, let's get real with it. Let's just fix it up. Colorism, last video. It's me, LALELAY, pronounced like LA like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. Colorism, definition is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the black community has been a series a serious emotional and psychological battle. Please stand by. Ooh. Colorism, prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism within the black community has been a serious emotional and psychological battle. Having said that, within this definition, it says within the same, amongst, what is it, prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. So, meaning this acknowledges the fact that colorism also happens within each race. It's not just ours. However, ours seem to be viewed and magnified upon more, which is why it's so aggressively aggravating. Because people don't, the media per se, don't want to act like this stuff is going on within their own home too. So sometimes in order to feel better, you magnify everybody else's stuff. You turn on the fan and blow all their crappy smells around to make it look worse so you can look better. It's just deflection, okay? Everybody's going through the same thing. They just chose us to magnify it on. But at the end of the day, Mexicans go through it too. White people go through it too. I've heard some girls, and it made me sad because they complain. Like when I was in school, I heard girls complaining amongst themselves, saying they wish their skin wasn't so pale because when they wear certain colors with their dresses, it don't look right. That made me sad. It wasn't funny. It just was like, dang, that's true. I never thought about that. So we all have issues with our skin. So at the end of the day, it's not just the black thing. It's just magnified on us to make us feel even worse. It makes you want to crawl in the hole. Who wouldn't want to crawl in the hole when every day you wake up, look outside, they talking bad about us? The worst, the most, even worse than these Taliban people. They talk about us bad. So who want to wake up to be like, shoot, not only am I black, I am poor. It's tiring. So what I ask though is for you guys to pick up the fight and join with me. And I'm not saying get on here acting crazy and ignorant. I mean, pick up the fight in your own way, meaning maybe better yourself or learn to be quiet or just look at things from a different point of view. You know, I'm not you're not the only one bearing this cross, despite how light I am. I pointed out in my series other things that a light skinned girl had to deal with. And so you can hear the background. I'd rather be light because I'd rather be light skinned and not have to deal with being dark because of XYZ. Well, light skinned sometimes wish they was dark so guys can leave us the H alone. Okay, so just think of it that way. Turn it around. Don't nobody want to go out the house and be bothered by sloppy men all day because we fit their criteria on the outside. It's tiring too, okay? Some girls don't want guys messing with them. So if you fit or if I fit the criteria of the what guys want on the outside only, no matter what I do or wear, they gonna be bothering me. So it's things like that you have to keep in mind. Everybody's got issues, okay? Not everybody wanna be out here on Front Street doing stuff for attention in that type of way. People do like attention, but it's all about what type of attention you want. Hello. So let's not go like, well, be up in my shoes for a minute. Okay, well, be up in my shoes for a minute too. Okay, it all depends on what you want, what your aim is out of life. If you want men all looking up and down on you like that, fine. Okay, go get some bleaching cream and leave us alone. Okay, just leave us alone. Just do what you gotta do and shut up. Okay. A lot of these ways they can be fixed. It's whether or not you want to actually do it, be it the harsh way or the healthy way. You can fix this situation the harsh way or a safe way. If you want to be light skinned so bad and you went to counseling, I mean, like for real, and you self analyze and you just one of those people who live for the outside looking in or just live in the shallow life, okay, well, there's bleaching cream for that, and there's lots of kinds that can get you light in 2 days. Look it up in these documentaries, but just be warned, there's a caution to that too, because some of these people, when they do this bleaching cream stuff, they do get the light results and look like me. However, they have skin cancer, or unfortunately, the results, you don't get an even tone. So if you are not happy with the way you look, there's ways to fix it. Even if you're poor and can't afford like these surgeries and stuff, there's still bleaching cream. But please, please, please use discretion, because you may not get an even complexion. Some of these women are, they have severe skin burns and they just wish they left their skin alone or didn't go all in. You know what I'm saying? Maybe lighten themselves up 1 or 2 shades, but not all the way, because now they are suffering the other side of this, where now that their skin is so light, they cannot be in the sun too long because it hurts. So think about that too. If you want to do something about it that way, use discretion. Go on and do it if that's what you want. If you feel that's what's going to make you happy, fine. But at least do some research and find some product out there that's not going to mess you over, because you're going to regret it. I don't want you to make a choice that makes you feel good, but you made it too hastily, okay? So moving on with that. If you want to do something about your skin, and you can, get to yourself, do the research, do some real internalization. Don't be too hasty about it, but know at the end of the day, can you live with what you've done? That's it. Can you live with it? So once you bleach your skin that bad, you can't go back. And then when you have children, your son or daughter is going to come out probably the color you were originally born with, dark. Can you live with the fact that when your son or daughter see you, they can't see you because they think you're something else? Make sure you have your speeches prepared if you want to go all the way through with this, okay? Dig deep, be honest. So if you still want to do this skin bleaching stuff, best believe when you have a child, he or she is going to be dark. And they're going to have these questions. Are you prepared to deal with that? If so, start preparing, maybe having letters, to your daughter and saying that this is the choice I made. But also lift them up too and say that, love yourself too, because it's going to sound like a big contradictory. If you're telling your son or daughter to love the skin you're in, but at the same time they're looking up at a mom who used bleach cream and you don't look like them, they're going to have some identity crisis. Make sure you're able to deal with that too, because unfortunately these mistakes, the choices we make outwardly, will, it's not just about you anymore if you still want to have children in the future. If you do this, prepare yourself to have these conversations with your son or daughter. Write a book about it and just have it be for them. Write a journal, make a copy of it so it can just be lying around. Heaven forbid you pass away or something happen, you have a stroke. You can't even wait till they get to a certain age to explain these things. They're going to be running around in these streets confused. And this world is fast, so they will probably be forced to make a lot of decisions that are unhealthy because they don't know. So I advise you to have a plan not only for yourself, but keep your kids in mind too. Because once you make this choice, you cannot necessarily go back if you want to bleach your skin that heavily. Just think about it. Colorism, prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. So that means colorism is happening in every single race around across the world. Nobody's alone in this.
How about start watching some documentaries on colorism and different races to see the stuff that they go through too? It's pretty much sharing the same pain, the same wants. People want to eat. People want to have a family. People don't want to struggle. And if it comes down to making your skin lighter so your family can eat, so you can have less stress mentally, or put you in a different position at your work, people are factoring these things in too. Because don't nobody want to struggle. I mean, you grow up and you see your mom and dad struggle, and now you're of age and you're still struggling. And now you have kids, and the chain of poverty isn't broken yet. You have to take in consideration as to why some of these people are making these decisions. But the fact of the matter is, don't talk down on people because the color that they're born with. It's not their fault they have that color. It's not their fault they have that color. It's not their fault they have that color. So why are you treating them like it's a choice that they made? Did you choose to be white? No, but you can best believe you thankful you are. Did I choose to be this color? No. And in my previous videos, I wished I was darker because I felt isolated because everyone in my family was darker than me. So I felt like I didn't belong. I didn't ask to be this color. Am I thankful I'm this color? Yeah. And I say it like that because of what I just said. All the heartache it brought to me personally, okay? So we can't help how we are born and what we are given. So that don't give you the right to treat people like crap because of a circumstance they had no say in. Colorism is taught, and I believe colorism can be passed down through the child simply on the strong feelings that the mother and father may have. So keep that in mind too. I'm 34 years old, so saying my parents back in the day grew up in all that white man toilet, black man toilet, can't sit here type stuff, okay? So all those fears and worries and stuff was hovered up inside them, all the way down to the core, all the way down to the fat meat. Like this one man said on YouTube, he beat that woman down to the fat meat. Okay, that's not funny, but it's all the way in, it's through and through. These and through. So what makes you think all that junk and thoughts and feelings and emotion didn't get in us? I can say for one, I believe it got in me and I didn't ask for it. For example, the plant analogy. You have two plants. One plant is by a whole bunch of music that's speaking hate all day. Music. I'm not saying a specific type of music because it can have hate in it. So these plants are by some music that was just so negative, okay? Oh, he broke up with me, I wanna die, and I hate this, I hate that. And then another plant was next to some music that was just happy, happy something, da da, come on, get happy. It's nothing negative about it. It's not talking about breakups, it's not talking about divorce, it's not talking about racism or anything negative. A few weeks later or so, the plant that was around all this negative music and sad tones and pulses, oh my word, my baby, don't go with me. The plant pretty much died. But the plant that was around happy, positive stuff lives. So what makes you think when you're growing a life inside of you, that same effect isn't happening to the fetus, to the child, to the baby? I believe it is. So people don't feel so guilty neither to the ones who have race issues and don't know where these thoughts came from, because deep inside it may not be, it's like, this isn't me. Take some of that blame off of you, because a lot of that stuff was probably inherited simply because your parents thought that stuff through and through. So don't feel so guilty and sad about it, okay? Racism is taught, but I believe it can be passed on too, because it's in your parents' moral fiber to feel and strongly believe that way. But if you don't believe that way and you find yourself warring with that, that's a good thing. It's better to war than not be aware of what it is, anyways. The next step is to just acknowledge that it's not your fault, all of it. You know, don't hate your mother and father. They grew up in the prehistoric days of seeing blacks and whites completely different from how we do, okay? We're in a new wave, so just fight through it. It's the pits, because we're fighting through it too, okay? This is not just a white thing. This is not just a black thing. I have to fight through it too, because you best believe I felt all that crap my parents feared and maybe fear now. And I know those are not my thoughts. I know all that mess come from them. Those sidebar thoughts I have to deal with has nothing to do with me, but those voices is their crap. So keep that in mind too. To take some of the weight off of you, no matter what race you are. Prejudice. Colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same race. So no matter what race you're in, if your skin is darker, you're going to face issues, okay? We're all in this together. The best way to solve this is to fix yourself first. I'm still fixing myself. As long as I'm alive, I'm unfortunately fixing myself. And I get tired of fixing myself. I just want to sit down sometimes. But that's the burden of wanting to be better. Not better than somebody, but just better inwardly. It's tiring. And boring too sometimes, because you just want to just let it all hang loose, you know. But hey, that's just the price with what any human faces. I believe that's it. This concludes my series on colorism. I'm working on something else too, but as you know, I do have another YouTube channel. It's more lighter. It's for kids and for the ones who are considered geeks and all that stuff. So it's about Funko Pops and all that. The people who follow that are people who genuinely like it, and people who like game and stuff, you know. Usually people who like to game kind of fall over into that YouTube channel, because it's a lot of fun stuff like that. Yep, I'm looking through my notes to make sure that's everything, because I kind of don't want to go back over this once I'm done with it. I want to be done with it. I don't really want to do a recap. If I recap on something as heavy as this, it might be in a year or two, unless I feel compelled to do something else. So I'm really making sure I've touched all the bases I wanted to touch when it comes to colorism. Yeah. Love the skin you're in. It's true. But if you want to change it, you can. You have your own mind. You can change it. Just be prepared for not getting any support behind what you choose to do, and being okay with that, because you're doing what makes you happy. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up now. Thanks for watching. Bye.